What is happening, guys? Cowboy here, and welcome back to the Ring City walkthrough. So this is it. This is the end of the DLC. If you've reached this point and you feel that it's been short, that's because you're following a walkthrough, and it allowed you to get past the hellish angels without any thought, and showed you the best way to kill them. Otherwise, you would probably still be stuck there, because they are literal cancer. Anyway, at Filinor's Rest, first thing we're doing is running out to the left here. As you can see, another dual-wield knight. Similar to before, these guys are pretty easy mode to just take out. I'm gonna swap some stuff on for the upcoming boss. This one like doesn't even know how to do the weapon art. Spoke too soon. We got a chunk from him and a free slap. So the chunk is a drop. He does kick it off. Excuse me. The chunk was a drop. He gives you a slab just for beating him. Now after that, we're gonna run the opposite direction. Ignore him. Stay away from him. Don't let him come near you. He's trying to trigger a boss fight. Actually, got to go quite a bit farther to trigger the boss fight. Before that, we got to go over to here. All the way back. So you may remember Shira, the chick that just gave us that slab at the beginning of the last episode. She's a little bit butthurt that we woke up Filinor.
I've searched for thee, dark, stricken creature. I am Shira, daughter of the Duke, descendant of gods, and trusted friend to Medea. At once, I am the honor of the gods, the glory of fire, and the fear of the dark. Thou shalt not go unpunished for thy treachery, thy profanity, and thy shameless yearning.
Yeah, she's kind of annoying. I have, no, I don't have it. So she's gonna keep spamming this thingy. You can basically just keep walking to the right, and every now and then one's gonna clip you, it looks like. Usually if you're just walking far enough away, she can't connect it, but it looks like she is right now. So anyway, a couple things about her. Her weapon can do a couple different attacks. It can give her a poise buff. It can do a scream AoE attack. It can do an explosion type thing. After killing her, she's gonna drop that weapon for us. She does have 4 Estises, so keep that in mind. So, best thing I've found to do is just work her down, get her to use an Estus, and then just be ready to work her down again. That's the scream. Does some damage, knocks you down. You can also kind of put her into a corner and beat her ass pretty easily. See if you can block this. It's 2 Estus you've used now. Got her to roll right into my backstab. There we go. So, anyway, with her dead, you got the Crucifix of the Mad King. Pretty interesting weapon, does all the stuff that hers does. It's kind of like a dark halberd, if you will. 19, 10, 14, pretty weird requirements on it. But I mean, it has a corpse on the end of it, so definitely a cool looking weapon. And from here, we're actually going to jump back real fast. I mean, obviously you could run back there, but why bother? And once again, we gotta go back to the ringed inner wall. So similar to before, now we're gonna go back to her room and her armor is waiting for us. So a little bit annoying that we gotta run there to get the quest, and then run there to get the slab, and then run there to get the armor, but at least it's an easy run. So while we're making the run, I'm gonna go ahead and discuss the upcoming boss. So up next we have Gael. Now to add a little bit of the context into why we're fighting Gael, so if you played the Ashes of Ariandel DLC, you know that Gael was basically sent in search of the Dark Soul. Now, he gets here, he gets to the Ring City, and the Ring City, for those that kind of missed the lore, was basically a place created by Gwyn where the pygmies could live. Now, the furtive pygmy was the original holder of the Dark Soul, but he gave off different pieces of the soul to other pygmy lords, and then smaller pieces to even, smaller, significant pygmies. So what's happened now is, at this point in the game, after you touched Villanor, the time lock, if you will, that kept this whole place frozen in time is gone, and we are now way, way in the future into the Age of Ash, the age where the pygmies are, they're the only thing that's left. Like, gods are gone at this point, men are gone, it's just Ash. And so as you approach Gael, you and him are the only ones still remaining in the world, basically. So Gael has basically been eating the pygmies to consume the Dark Soul, but your character, of course, also has a piece of the Dark Soul. So in a sense, what's happening is that our fight against Gael is essentially battling the Dark Soul itself incarnate, like with as many parts of it together as possible. But he's kind of like a vessel for it, if you will. He doesn't become the Dark Soul, he's just a vessel. And when our character actually kills him, we complete what we would know as the Dark Soul.
Help me.
And we deliver that over to his granddaughter to paint with. So anyway, gotta run all the way over here to fight him. Spend your souls, because otherwise it's a big pain in the dick run back. You can fight him up there. Phase 2 and onward, he'll come to you basically, but for Phase 1, we gotta go over here. I'm gonna actually switch to a quicker weapon here. You can, well, let me try the heavy weapon for one phase. I found, the last time I did this, that heavier weapons didn't work all that well for this fight. Faster weapons were much, much better. On that note, if you need a decent sword to take him down with, the Irithyll Straight Sword, the one that has frost, that actually works very, very well. He's quite vulnerable to frost buildup. If you played Ashes, you'll remember that Gael was kind of this like skinny dude that's just like, here, go to Ariandel, help the painting. You know, we need the Dark Soul pigment, and you can see here now he's like kind of beefed and hulking out because he's basically been cannibalizing these pygmies and eating the Dark Soul. Another fun thing people have been pointing out is that, in a sense, this is kind of like
still here?
Dark Soul's own version of Guts from Berserk. You know, he has a repeating crossbow, he has the long cape, he kind of jumps around, similar to Guts in the Berserker armor. He has a great sword.
For my lady's painting.
Very interesting contrasts there, which I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Miyazaki had some inspiration from him for the fight. But anyway, Phase 1, fairly telegraphed. Likes to jump around. The two things you want to really watch out for is that, where he'll lunge, that will stab you through a shield. And aside from that, he has a jump and slam attack, which I'm trying to get him to do that right now. There it is. Yeah, we're already going to our battle axe. I'm only getting 347 in with hits. I can get 2 hits in with this, more damage. As for element, lightning and magic both work fairly well. Bleed works. Fire, I don't know if fire works. I know dark works. I ended up killing him. Actually, no, fire and dark both work on him now that I think about it. Because I ended up using, Black Flame to kill him, but I did use some fire spells. They don't seem as effective, but he also has a massive health pool, very similar to Midir, and that's part of the reasons for his difficulty. So we're just kind of going to get him out here into a more open area, make the fight a little bit easier. Oh, damn. Did not honestly think he'd be able to turn right there, so as you can see, that'll go straight through his shield. Always roll forward. Easy free heal right after he does that. The shield actually helps quite a bit here. So once you get him down enough, we're going to be triggering phase 2. At this point, he's going to have his repeating crossbow added in. He's going to have a multi-way the white corona. His cape also ends up attacking following his attacks. At this point, dodging is a little bit better than blocking. Come on, buddy. Oh, and he has that teleport, which he doesn't do that all that frequently, but it is worth noting. I find circling to the right works pretty well. You can see even with blocking, he still gets in some chip damage. Obviously dodge the big lunge attacks, they're pretty telegraphed. But thematically, this boss fight, if you were able to take down Nameless King, this shouldn't be that much harder. Kind of reminds me of that, you know, it's just biding your time. Now watch out for this. This is the soul implosion, I'm calling it, because it's like a soul explosion. But every single one of the places where those hit, lightning is going to strike down. And this is what we'll call phase 3. So at this point, he has a couple new combos. That's the 3-hitter right there. A lot of his previously 2-hit combos are now 3-hit combos. So just keep that in mind. 1, 2, 3. After the thrust is where you want to be able to get your attack in. One. You can hear how his shield's also hitting my or his cape is also hitting my shield. You're hearing a doo-doo, and that's because the cape also does damage. So same as before, another soul implosion. Let's just back up a little bit, let that all land. There's really no reason to try and fight around that stuff. And there's the thrust. You also notice that when he's jumping in the air now, he's doing a crossbow volleys while in the air. Another soul implosion. I'm going to rebuff my weapon. Let's run back a little bit. Whoa! Did not expect them to get up on me like that. And where's the 3rd hit? There's the thrust. Little greedy there, trying to finish him off during the soul implosion. Oh, man. Thank you, Great Shield. that's it for Slave Knight Gael. Blood of the Dark Soul and the Soul of Slave Knight Gael. So as I mentioned, all in all, not that hard of a boss fight. I mean, even though he looks kind of crazy and chaotic, his patterns are fairly easy to read, and as you saw there, just circling around to the right with a shield. Basically just took a little bit of minimal chip damage there, and for the most part was able to just wait for an opening and attack him. Obviously made a couple mistakes towards the end there, but still, you know, nothing too crazy. So at this point, you can go and turn in his soul. You can get either his greatsword, which pretty good. It's basically identical to the claymore in terms of moveset. There's one move different on it. The two-handed rolling R1, I think, was the only move I could find with it that was different than the claymore. But it is a little bit longer than the claymore in terms of reach, and of course you have crazy weapon arts with it. So another potential bonus of it. And that is right here, Gael's greatsword. Alternatively, if you don't want the greatsword, you can get his repeating crossbow. So make your berserk role plays, get those guts cosplay builds ready to go. But with him dead, there's one other thing to do. Now I know a lot of people are probably like, you know, where's the story for this? You know, how does it end like that? And the thing you guys got to remember as well is this is an expansion. Expansions typically, or not expansion, but DLC, same difference. They typically don't have their own endings. They're more just adding on a separate story. So the fight against the Soul of Cinder is still intended to be the true end to Dark Souls 3. This is just supposed to be a little untold chapter for us to experience. So do keep that in mind before you say that, you know, you're mad there wasn't a true end. I mean, we essentially got to fight a human incarnate of the Dark Soul, which is pretty awesome. And then you go over here and you give her the blood of the Dark Soul.
My thanks, Ashen One. With this will I paint a world. Please tell me thy name. I would name this painting after thee. I see. We are much alike. Then I will name this painting Ash. It will be a cold, dark, and very gentle place. And one day, it will make someone a goodly home. I wonder when Uncle Gael intends his return.
He does not.
I hope the new painting will be to him a gentle home.
And that wraps up the entirety of Dark Souls 3. So, heading back to the shrine. Yeah. Either way, it was a hell of a journey, guys. Thanks for sticking with me through the game and all 3 DLCs. Had a blast making the walkthroughs and doing the Let's Plays and the drunk throughs and the streams and Ashen One and all that crazy stuff. But, you know, even though Miyazaki has said this is the end of Dark Souls, you know, that formula is not going anywhere. Whether it's going to be in terms of, like, Demon Souls coming back, or Bloodborne 2, or even a completely new IP that just has similar mechanics, of course, this will not be the end of the Souls journey. You know, the Souls-born spirit will certainly live on. That much I can guarantee. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the walkthrough. Thanks for coming by and checking it out. And we will see you next time with a new series.